Intel, Vodafone, the road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Ghost Gaming keep their hopes alive here in Odense and keep their strength going here as long as we look at cash, because they were able to walk away with that one pretty quickly. And dare I say, they brought us to a third map to make it just that much more interesting. This is a lifeline in a match where Ghost Gaming is not necessarily expected to perform the best, but are holding their own going into this third map. To make some sense of that, will be Ro2 and Pimp. We're going to be looking at this one a little bit more in depth before we do jump into our third map of Mirage. But first, we got to wrap up cash.
Yeah, I think that was a very strong performance from Ghost Gaming. I think sort of as we expected, you know, them being a little bit more demanding on the map. They knew how they wanted to play it and they had a clear idea of how to play it. I also said that NRG is not necessarily a great cash team. I think that was exploited a lot here. Didn't seem to have anything to come with. Ghost Gaming were the team in charge basically the entire time. And if you have to point out one player that I think did exceptionally well, Kusta with the rifle. I mean, this is a dude that half a year ago or a year ago was considered one of the biggest talents with the AVP. Now all of a sudden in this constellation of the lineup, he has transitioned into a great rifler and he's doing great work with it.
Yeah, I think the CLG Liquid era definitely probably, you know,
it's over.
He's upping self-confidence. So I think it's good he's been able to transition to the rifle and doing a very, very good job at it. But what was really worrying for NRG really was the fact that, first of all, that they let this map through. You would imagine that they'd have some kind of game plan and they'd really look, you know, refined and they knew exactly what they wanted to do. But they actually seemed like they ran out of ideas very quickly. Because I don't think it's, you know, it's not a great situation when you're not able to get like a 2-for-1 trade at any point in time with the default. Because defaults are so important in this map, trying to get mid control. So they had to go for straight up bomb site hits all time and time again towards the tail end of the half because they were just not getting any of the openings in the early parts. So obviously you have to say that Ghost and obviously being able to defend those bomb sites flawlessly, thanks to players like Neptune, Kusta, pretty much all of them chiming in and always making sure that they were the ones with the upper hand as an afterplan was going to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have to start to look at those post-plant scenarios. You have to look at how your team is meshing in those environments because not all teams are well drilled when it comes down to the late parts of a round, much less a half. We can start to take a look at some of the numbers from at least that of Cash. And yes, world ranking 27 versus a number 8. My goodness, we're going to 3 on those, Gord. But Kusta definitely bring his own here on this second map. And for what it's worth, I'd like to spark up a conversation about Wardell. Now, this is a player that this organization has been looking to build around for quite some time now, at least within Ghost Gaming. As soon as he signed, there was entire talks about, hey, you know what? No matter what the team around you is, you're the one that we're going to be building around. You are the future of this organization. And Wardell having a key point here within this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, very, very solid opper. I think he's consistently playing well. That's the big part of it because you have an opper who's almost exclusively playing with it. He have to be very, very consistent. He's able to do that. He's good at both playing passive, just holding angles, but also super, super quick, like has massively fast reflexes. That's going to help a lot. So I think that's definitely a great building block for Ghost to have going forward.
Definitely agree. And the interesting part about that, as you said, you know, he can play passively, but he is a very explosive opper as well. And you get to see that with Steel being the secondary opper for this lineup. It's not even Kusta, who used to be one of the biggest talents with the AVP, because you don't want that constellation of having two very hyper-aggressive AVP players playing at the same time. So having Steel being the secondary opper, being very laid back, being very controlled with it, and just play passively, you know, add up to that, you have Wardell, as you said, the team is built around him being this aggressive, explosive AVP player. It makes for a great combo, and that's, you know, something that I like to see that they put thought into, because you could put Kusta on that AVP, and you would have two of the same types of AVP playing around the same map. That wouldn't make too much sense. So I like the way that Steel put thought into it and picked up the AVP himself and played this in a little bit of a different style, so to speak.
Well, Ghost definitely keeping that streak alive on Cash. They're still undefeated. I think it puts them on 6-0, 7-0 now, which is kind of unheard of this day and age, unless, of course, your Strahl is playing Nuke. So there's always a one-off. There's always an anomaly there with that regard. We do have the chance now to get a little bit of verbs in there with the sidelines. We do have James Banks down there, I do believe, with someone from Ghost. Let's go ahead and check in with them and hear what they had to say.
Ghost Gaming draw it up at a 1-1 as they take Cash in a very convincing fashion against NRG, and I've got James, the coach. Now, first game, right to the wire, all the way. Yeah. Very difficult game. You couldn't close it out. Then you come into Cash, and it looks like everything is kind of going your way. What is the main differences between the two maps?
I think it's just situational play, right? Like, we've played both maps a ton of times. We picked Cash, they picked Inferno. Everyone can play Inferno, like we said last time. Yeah. I think it came down to huge individual plays. Like, Kusta was just literally robotic on CT side. Like, if you want to go watch that demo, he was nuts. He had like a crazy 4K in A main. So you can't account for stuff like that, right? It's like, oh, let me map plan that Kusta's going to get a 4K. Sabroso is huge. He was getting 2 kills when most people get maybe 1, maybe a dink and not even a kill. So I think it comes down to that. And Mirage is going to be interesting to watch, right? It's one of those maps where you can't account for anything, right? There's 6 openings and there's 5 players on each side, so.
Now, I'd love to see if we could make it possible where you can plan out Kusta going crazy like that. That'd be a nice change for you to have there. Now, I saw the thing on Twitter, right, between you and Steel. Now, you tweeted one thing out and went, and it was very much around kind of the leadership, how they should lead in a positive way. And then we saw a nice subtweet come out from Steel. I want to know if that was a bit of a meme or if that was serious.
I mean, it is kind of a meme and kind of serious, right? Like, all jokes have a little bit shred of truth. Like, he's kind of known to be a little bit more abrasive, but that's just because he's type A and he really does everything in his power to win, right? He's not like, oh, I'm tired, or like, I need to go do something luxurious. Like, he stays up late and prepares. I help him come up with new ideas, but mostly, like, during a game, I'm there for like emotional stuff. Like, I'll call the pause. Like, I called a pause yesterday against Order when we didn't even have a buy round coming up, and I was like, hey guys, just like, I noticed our comms are going down. You know, just take this round where we're not buying to just relax. Like, literally take deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. So it was kind of a shred of truth, but a joke, right? Yeah. Josh and I get along really well, so it's all good.
As long as it's all good in the team, it's showing at least in these games. Nearly there, one more to get it done. Good luck going into the third and final map. Mirage is going to be a good one. You guys are going to want to check out all the action coming in Mirage because this series has delivered so far. And Ghost, they're looking hot off the back of that.
Yeah, Ghost looking to keep it alive here in Odense, trying to ride into the back of that regular season play where they did, in fact, dominate North America, and looking to dominate North America a little bit further as we go into Mirage. NRG being their opponent is certainly not going to give up without a fight, and as we begin to take a look at Mirage, guys, we're expecting a brawl.
I expect a brawl. I expect it to be a very close matchup. I expect the individuals to show up. I think Cirque in particular is going to be vital for them. He needs to go up against Wardell. They need to have a fair fight. Otherwise, it could be a tough one.
A solid T-sided team on this map as well as Ghost. And now this is going to be a challenge for NRG when it comes to that mid control and try to play aggressive over there. You kind of need to play around the timings because Ghost is really good at reading the plays and setting the pace in terms of how they come in and when they push and when they try to take connector control and things like that. So that's going to be a challenge on itself for NRG to try to withstand.
Definitely agree. And let's not forget that NRG played this map yesterday against MIBR, a map they should have won, a map they were leading, a map they were being very proactive on, and a map they felt comfortable on. So I expect them to be able to beat Ghost, but it is going to be a close one, Trace. And I think, you know, I think we're going to see more of Kusta. I think we're going to see more of Wardell as well. And I think we're going to see why Ghost was so dominant in the online season.
Yep, needing to find that routine, needing to find that streamlined strength that they had all regular season wrong here in this Group B lower bracket semi-final matchup between NRG and Ghost. Is going to be coming down to the wire here as we go into Mirage, where things are certainly going to be heating up quite a bit after that Inferno showing. And to deliver it even further will be our commentators who go by the name of Hugo and Harry. Guys, get us into this third map.
Yeah, cannot wait to Ghost versus NRG. It's gone the distance. It's gone all three. We're into Mirage. And this is, of course, yesterday, where for NRG, fresh in their minds, is going to be that rather devastating loss in overtime to MIBR, right? They lost that game 16-19. So they're not looking to relive that here. They're looking to try and send the Ghost boys home. But let's get into this one.
Yeah, this is going to be as close as they come, I think, Harry. We had two already pretty, you know, fair maps between these guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is going the full distance as well, but let's find out. Pistol underway. Bastion, nice hair flick, Bieber, as we jump into this pistol. Ghosts are going to be going quick into the A site. We've got Dap smoked off on the spawn, and no one else really committed. Cirque, he's definitely not committed after that thing. He actually gets out of there. Now Breezy can try and defend him. Got the 1-2 punch of NRG, but this crossfire to cut off the connector and the jungle is super powerful for Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, having Neptune here, that's going to be such a big issue. Wardell as well, then finding Ethan. Will lose Kusta, but yeah, I mean, for NRG, this retake is already feeling mighty if possible. Neptune, God of the Sea, gonna wave bye-bye to Breezy, and Cirque fugly dropped as well, and that'll be the Ghost Gaming guys gathering up that first round, finding the pistol, and Now looking to try and go on and pick up an early lead here in Mirage.
Ghost pistols have been really, really good this series as well. Obviously, we had that 4K round from the back of the A site. I think it was from Breezy on Cash. But other than that, Ghost have been really, really good at both CT and T side pistols. A lot of their CT side mainly off the back of Kusta. But certainly the start they would need coming into this map, I would still say they are the underdogs. But, you know, Ghost have a history of upsetting, and NRG have a history of getting upset. More so in the game yesterday up against MIBR in that final map, having a lead, throwing it away, losing in overtime, as you said. For now, it is just pistols. They forced up this second round, which is going to enable them to get the AWP into Cirque's hands nice and early on in that fourth round, and that's definitely a good decision here. We want that AWP ASAP for NRG. Cirque was great in the previous map, but he definitely didn't have the AWP as much as I would have liked. So this could be a bit of a different story. Mirage, a strong map for a CT AWP. Ethan trying to cut down this mid push, but Ghost has smoked them off, and they will get given cat. Ooh.
Ooh, Fugly! Well, tell you what, they might have been given cap, but they don't have 9 lives because Fugly, he shut them both down. Steel now up in the apartments, does have players grouping around over here towards short, but it's a 3-man stack for NRG inside of this B-bomb, so Ghost Gaming have their work cut out for them. Finally, they best Fugly as Sabrosa on for the ace, and now just Ethan remaining. He's tucked away, he's up on the warhead, he's looking to deliver a payload, but Neptune deletes him. And Ghost, they do manage the conversion, albeit by the skin of their teeth. A strong start here for the likes of Sabrosa and a Neptune, both of them getting to pad those stats out just a little bit. And I tell you what, if Sabrosa can continue, you know, to find his form, then that's going to be great, because then we also want to step up alongside Kusta. Interesting poll that we've decided to run. People leading the way of NRG still in this series, so looking to try and upset that already, a Ghost. Going against the grain, going against the odds. And now for NRG, it's just the eco in this round. They tried to force in that second. They're going to have a buy into round number 4. One reason I'm a big fan of teams doing this on the CT side is just that, you know, then when you do get that buy in round 4, which used to be the old meta anyway, you have $500 extra to play around with. You know, that's an extra what? Extra, maybe you get a couple of extra kits. You know, maybe you go ahead and grab yourself some more utility, but this should just be a clean round. The bomb goes down at B. They spotted out Neptune. He is one of the players with the rifle, so if they take him down, that's a pretty big win if you can walk out this round with an AK.
Yeah, he goes ahead of that, though. He backs off, throws a molly, walks back in, and Fugly doesn't expect such a close position, so good reposition there, keeps him alive for now, and he should just play this headshot angle until he can eventually fall back, but he's actually letting them get very, very close. This is where surely he goes down. Even if he got one more there, that would have been his death warrant signed. Cirque going to get caught on that exit. And Ghost, they are going for the full round-the-world strat. They've actually cornered Breezy and Daps inside the apartment, so this is going to be a clean round for Ghost, getting rid of every player of NRG. You'd like to think Breezy is going to be careful. Oh, he just gets around the corner. That is... Oh, very, very close. 3 rounds still in the hands of Ghost, though, but now we're going to have a bit of an upgrade for NRG. A free AK gifted. Going to be very valuable. That AWP being bought straight away. And the value of having that AK, right, that means now Breezy has $3,000 after the buy. So when it comes to buying up that AWP in the future, he can drop that over to Cirque nice and easily. So, third round for Ghost, but this is the buy for NRG. This is their chance to get on the board.
And it's looking like Ghost might just try and hit this B-bomb site fast. They've gone for this bonus round, right? So they've only got the SMGs really to work with. The close angles that B are going to lend themselves to that. And they're allowed to get in very close thanks to all these smokes that have gone down. Daps trying to go toe-to-toe with the SMGs up close. Only has his teammate here in the kitchen and a man at short to help him out. But as the numbers start to dwindle for Ghost, it does become a bit problematic.
But look at the A flank right now. Look at Kusta. He snuck all in the A site. Problem is his team really falling like flies here. Sabrosa getting swatted off of that van all over the windscreen. Mordell just still trying to hold off as Kusta flanks, but the more time that goes, the more time that NRG are aware that Ghost could have fallen back, and Cirque's watching his backline as well. Maybe on the left side of the window, but this is not a hard shot to hit if Kusta creeps into it. Flashbang there forces Kusta to spray. He thought someone was coming through with it, and that gives so much information away to NRG. They are going to have everything going for them. Wardell kills Breezy up on short, but that will probably be one of the only casualties this round for NRG. They're looking to take it with 4 alive. Wardell, he's not got much time left either. He should probably just try and find a fight. Ooh.
He's trying to make something of this round. The one issue he's going to have is this man holding close. He's not ready for daps. And so NRG, yeah, they managed to go out and find themselves that round there. Now, there is still plenty of money for Ghost to invest. That was the attempt at the bonus round. Wardell, he's the man with no cash, which does make this AWP a little bit more of a dubious prospect. They can get us dropped over to it, but they might have to sacrifice something else somewhere, whether that be in utility or whether that be in firepower, with someone having to step down onto one of those SMGs. And yeah, you pointed out, I love that with Kusta, you know, throwing that flash through the murder hole, so he has to spray it, giving up his position. Nice way of probing for that information without having to actually risk a player. Now, Steel gets out in towards top mid. That's courtesy of the smoke that goes down to allow the cross. The one issue he's going to have is that Cirque and Ethan both scoped in at this portion of the map. Tries to force that first man out from connector, but it's going to get smoked off. And Ethan looked like he was going to try and push up past it. Decides against it, but then there's Cirque there to delete Steel. Does get caught out, so 4 players remaining now for Ghost, and they're just going to go pushing in toward this A bomb site.
Yeah, the man on the flank, the man who's supposed to come through connector and mop up these rotations has now gone down, so this A-take is going to really require some entry frags. Ethan, he's not going to commit to the fight. The smokes keep NRG out, but they're fine with that. They can come back in for the retake. Cirque's in the spawn, making sure no one gets aggressive, and Subrosa tries to do exactly that towards the jungle, caught out by Ethan. Man still up in the palace and on the ramp. Neptune, he's alone here. He's going to need a hero play, but nothing heroic coming through here for Ghost. They get a plant, but nothing on top of that. Ethan with 3 frags. And this is a start for Ethan that could get very, very scary for Ghost in this final map. He's had slow starts on both the previous maps and brought it back in the second halves of each of them. This time, he's kicked things off with a bang, Harry. 6 and 3, he's top of the server. And I think if you're Ghost, you definitely need to be worried about that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, for Ghost as well, I mean, you know, you kind of look at the players who have been the real driving forces. Obviously, you know, Kusta is the obvious one. Wardell is always really keen back on that previous map. The thing that scares me is Kusta is not really off to the most explosive of starts, still actually yet to put up a kill. You know, admittedly, it is still early days, but he's always been someone that's kind of been, you know, wowing us from the very offset. We cannot afford to have him slow down because he's been such a big part of why Ghost are in this position. Now, there's Ethan rising to the occasion once again. A quick double from him. Steel's going to try and retrieve this AUG. Ooh, he's looking for it.
I think he's just hiding in the smoke.
I think he was spamming E and moving it around so that you can reach a bit further.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
He gets some grenades and one to his face. Molotov in the window to try and force the player to wide peek or just to cover up that position. Instead, he's now given away his, and they are going to be running right after him. Cirque holding down the angle, and that's it. Steel's done. Ghost, only an eco, not a worry. They run up through Cat and get mown down by the AUG, and that's a very good weapon for spraying through smokes as well.
But, you know, I mean, if you're watching this, you know, a couple of little early warning signs that should be going off, you know, for Ghost at least, is as we were just kind of saying, that slower start from Kusta. That's something that can change. Perhaps the more worrying prospect is the good start from Ethan. He's starting to find his footing very early on, and as we've seen on the other maps, it's when he finds these kind of couple of confidence-boosting rounds, when he finds the few, you know, like a 1v3 or maybe just an ace or you know, 3 or 4 kills here and there. That's where he gets his confidence from, and he starts to build into the game in a big way from then on in. He is, you know, like a rock in that sense. But here's the push in toward this B-bomb site. Very fast, although Daps is even quicker with the execution of Neptune.
I don't know how he saw that kill. He might have to do a little bit more, smoking himself off as the Molotov lands in front of him. Daps, back turn, same story with Subrosa. Cirque goes in through the market door, and Daps has still done so much damage. It's finished off by Bugley. Breezy's catching the cat push, and just like that, Ghost are getting absolute game down to this round. NRG, another flawless rifle round. Bugley even gets the wall bang. And that is just so clean from NRG, yet to lose a player in these buys. In fact, the ecos from Ghost have been more successful in these last couple. And, well, on to another one again, Harry. This is a 4-3 scoreline for NRG.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you did want to look at silver linings, the ecos have been pretty good, so at least they have another one coming up, right? But that's just the worrying prospect. Ethan, 108 ADR, Cirque as well, just behind, and Breezy. It's that three-man core, the real kind of three fraggers that we always look to within this team, all stepping up right now. And over on the side of Ghost, that is almost the case. Sabros is there. He's one of the core three that we always like to talk about. It's Kusta, the real point man for this team, that is still yet to put anything up. And that was always kind of my worry, was how long can you expect him to be top in the charts for? All it takes is for him to have a couple of quiet moments, a couple of quiet maps, and you know, suddenly you do run the risk of kind of bombing out a bit. Daps going to delete him. Just can't seem to catch a break. He is a little bit unfortunate right now, is Kusta.
I think one of the big worries here is that, you know, when it comes down to obviously these teams, NRG play a lot more than Ghost, you know, in terms of just map count, but Ghost have only got 4 official maps logged on this one. Now, they've won 3, but Mirage is frequented by NRG. Lower win percentage is 56, but they've played 18 official games in the last 3 months, so yeah, when it just comes down to actually playing the maps and maybe having like a little bit more synergy with your team when it comes to it, I think NRG are definitely going to have that edge. They're looking good right now. Wardell, I don't know how this player is still standing. I don't know how Daps is still alive. He's 1 HP, Harry.
I mean, not to mention as well, and I'm sure everyone watching at home can relate, if that's you playing that, you know, in your matchmaking game, you know the one guy that pushes out of apps just one shot with the PP, you're dead, right? I never get tagged out of 1 HP. That just doesn't happen.
No.
But Daps somehow doing a great job of staying alive here at this Bebop site. And that's what he's been really good at as well, you know, anchoring down this position. You know, in all of these rounds, there's one man who sticks around inside of this site. There's one man who just slows it down completely, and it's been Daps. So he might not be, you know, recognized as the top fragger on this scoreboard, but you better believe all the kills he's getting. And sometimes not even the kills, just the fact that he doesn't die is having a massive impact. And look at that money on NRG. That's just so terrifying for Ghost. They're setting up for this A play, but NRG, they've got 2 players stacked up at the Palace ready to try and shut this down. One man sitting underneath for the trade, and Ethan with his trusty org in hand, it's become a bit prolific with this man now, hasn't it? Will he be able to dethrone the Ghost Gaming boys as they try and push from the Palace?
In the meantime, Neptune's putting in pressure on B, and now that he's dead, they're going to start to go straight out. But Ethan, he was ready for this push. He was so prepared. And Subrose is a free kill. The Molotov's there, so is a smoke. Ethan, he's going to be able to hold on for a little bit longer, wait for his team to move in. Cirque's done that. He's found an AWP shot. Wardell's trying to come out of the Palace, and he's the last man alive, but he can't even get the player not looking his way. Cirque is too quick. And Ethan, he's going to be able to find himself some damage as well. Another clean round from NRG. And that's one of the worries, Harry. Because these games have been so back and forth and so close in the previous 2 maps, you know, no one's really been taking flawless rounds. No one's been having 4 players alive. It's been scrappy. It's come down to the clutches. It's come down to broken economies, eco wins, resets. This is the first time in this best of 3 that we've seen such a dominant streak with flawless rounds from either team. And NRG have so much money as a result. Look at that cash on the right side.
Yeah, you know, I mean, since the pistol round has come through, we've seen all of the entirety of Ghost in what, the last 5 rounds muster up 4 kills, which really does not fill you with confidence. And you look at that round there, you kind of look at the setup from NRG, and it just happens flawlessly, right? All the peaks that Ghost try to take are countered by someone on NRG. They're all watching each other's back. The synergy was there. You saw the setup underneath Palace as well. The whole idea is, you know, you try and take that fight on Ethan, and then you had another man sat underneath it in that smoke hidden away who could have then pushed out afterwards. This time, fast play from Ghost down through short. Going to try and catch NRG off guard with this blistering pace, but Daps is already there to shoot Neptune in the face. Ghost going to go ahead and switch things up on the fly as Steel hops into the window room. Well, they do have a man in this position. What could he get done from it? Because, well, it's all well and good. You can deny these rotations. You can find something. Sadly, it just means Kusta gets fed to the wolves. Now, Steel has the potential to trade, and he will catch Breezy with his pants down, nade out. Weird combination, I know.
Yeah, I was wondering what he was doing.
Cirque keeping his eye on the apartments, and he does have Anchorman Daps here. Oh. No Ron Burgundy, though, this time around. Instead, now Wardell. 1v3, MP5, SD, and a Dream. Sadly, Cirque is the dream catcher.
And yeah, he's been really good as well this map, right? We've not seen a lot of AWPing from Cirque in this entire series. He's been getting, you know, 10 kills a map or whatever with that weapon, but yeah, this is a map where we really expect to see him. Out of Inferno, Mirage, and Cash, Mirage is definitely the best one for AWPing across both halves, that is, because obviously Inferno, great CT AWP, not so much the T side. Nice to see Cirque as well getting the ability to play between the sites. He's been in middle, he's been in CT spawn, he's been over on B, getting to roam the map looking for picks. And it's so hard when you have an unpredictable, you know, AWP that keeps repositioning to deal with on the side of Ghost. Now they've got to deal with Breezy in the back box, and he's found himself one. Ethan is going to be able to find another, but with Breezy dropping, the nades are flying on in. Ghost getting pressured by a lot of utility, and they'll throw out a little bit of their own, but 7 HP left on Sub Rosa. This bomb plant is going to be very difficult to get down if you are Ghost, considering Fugly's position. And now, welcome to the scoreboard. Cirque again lighting things up. Ethan peeks down at the right time, and it is just that lone 7 HP player. You can see the confidence on NRG taking these gunfights. Fugly just jumps up on the ticket booth to clean up that round. These guys are ready for Mirage.
Yeah, they certainly are. And you think back to that game versus MIBR yesterday, how back and forth it was. You know, it looked dominant from NRG early on, and then we saw MIBR build back into it in the later stages of that game. They're not keen on letting Ghost build it back into this one. They're trying to take this here and now. I mean, this is certainly what we need to see from them to do it. Ethan stepping up at just the right moments, and that's sort of been something we've been able to tie to him throughout this series. Ghost Gaming, it's back to basics, back to just this standard A execution. They have the smokes for CT and the cross, so they actually make the decision to leave CT open, trying to take this fight on a Fugly. There's no one here to trade this out, so if he goes down, that's a rifle retrieved. You're back into a 4-on-4, and maybe you can make something come of this round. Cirque's now here to try and reinforce, but that flash is picture perfect. That was thrown in by Sabrosa, but Fugly and Cirque, they've mopped up both the players down in CT.
Just like that, it's done and dusted, Harry. Yeah, even though they have the flashbangs, the kill's just not coming behind it for Ghost. And both NRG players were in the open at one point. I mean, Cirque somewhat got behind cover, and I guess Fugly could fall into the corner, but there was a good bit of time where those kills can come through for Ghost and just shots not being connected. But only pistols, not a huge worry. They had AKs in their hands. I would have hoped for 2 frags there, but still 9-3. NRG really are running away with the CT side, and someone needs to find a response. Harry, Kusta is yet to get a kill. We are 11 rounds in. Not a sign of success, considering this is, you know, the best player this series so far across both teams. Kusta, not including this map, he ended the last two, 47 and 35, plus 12, 93 ADR over both maps, despite losing one of them. 1.25 rating, pretty nutty, but he's 0 and 11 here, and that can't afford to happen. We need everyone to step up to counter what is NRG right now, and they've got the double AWP as well. That makes things even more ludicrous. Breezy going to push into mid early on. He's got the support of Ethan up in the window as well. These AWPs not needed. We got Daps on B with his. Cirque playing that close ramp position as well, and he's got a teammate by his side. He might need it. With a flash around the corner, and pushes in, but he lines up 2. He tags them both, but neither die.
Yeah, certainly one of the more underwhelming collaterals in that sense.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, me either. But there's a first time for everything. Breezy holding close at the top of mid here. Mordell and Steel both there. The issue is Steel in this position is just set up to trade. That's his sole purpose. He's not even needed just yet. Will roar to life. Once Ethan rears his head, and Steel will be quick to decapitate it. So now just Daps and Fugly remaining. And they're both very far away from one another. So Daps, if this push does come in toward B, you're going to be relying on him locking down the site, buying the time for this rotation from Fugly. If he falls straight away, this round's over. And he certainly has his work cut out for him. They're going to be splitting onto this from shore and the apartments. Fugly even flashed off that angle, and yeah, Daps he goes. He literally lasts milliseconds.
Same. That'll be Ghost picking up their first rifle round, Harry. They took the first 3 of this this map, but it fell short since.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
They make stuff for that now.
Oh. Well, double digits going to be avoided for now. And Fugly, I mean, he's just roaming the map, Harry. He is doing a full-on tour. Tour de Mirage. Hopefully less doping in this one. You might be able to catch a man in the window as well, but just moves up short. Fugly, you're not seriously going to do this, are you? Fugly? Hello? He's on the bomb. And they've realized, surely they'll be able to stop him from the window. Fugly, I think he's got it. Oh!
Oh dear. Uh-oh. Yep, so I'm wondering how Steel's going to be feeling after that. Because he said so in his little pre-game interview that he's someone who likes to, you know, strive for perfection, strive for clean CS. There's a meme within the team, which is NGE, not good enough. How many NGEs do you reckon just got dropped there? Because that's just devastating. I mean, if you wanted something that's going to knock your confidence, that's it.
At a 9-3, when you're finally winning your first full buy round, and you get that. I mean, Sub Rose is creeping through a smoke on B. I think this is the best time for it. You need something, Harry. You need anything except a ninja defuse, or you know, or people will jump on that. It's not a ninja defuse. They knew about it. Well, either way, Ghost RMB. Sub Rose has found an entry. That's something to play with, but his team are not here. They're finally going through the apartments, but that's still smoked for now. Breezy has got to be very careful. The Molotov has landed at his feet. He's had to smoke it off. He can just stay alive, but Steel's found another pick on Ethan chasing from behind. Very early chase considering only one man has been spotted out of the apartment, so you can make the assumption there are plenty more where that came from, and damn, that's right. 2 players left up here for NRG. And Ghost, it should be their round, but anything's possible.
It even feels, yeah, it certainly feels that way now, doesn't it? Fugly left up in this 1v4, and yeah, finally Ghost might be breaking the curse. Oh, maybe not. Fugly onto his second. Time is ticking against him though, and he knows it. So if he's going to try and go for this, he's got to find a little bit more. Kusta does lie in wait from behind over in the murder hole right now, starting to push on in. Oh. So Rose has been spotted. Still going to hold his own. And yeah, Ghost, they manage a fourth. They managed to find their first since that pistol round and the 2 anti-ecos they got on the back of it. It's been 10 rounds in a row for NRG. So buying is not a problem in any sense of the word into the last round of the half. Nice attempt from Fugly as well.
Yeah, he gave it a go. I mean, especially when you've got this kind of money, this kind of confidence, everyone's fragging, no one has more than 7 deaths. This is the kind of round where, yeah, you're in a 1-on-5, you go for that bad boy. You give it your best shot. At worst, you do damage to Ghost's economy, and it comes back to haunt them in terms of, you know, less nades or something. But with 1 round left of the half, it won't make any difference. Everyone's got guns. Everyone's got everything they want. We have a heavy mid presence as well. Steel tagged up early on alongside Fugly. Could be another creep into B here from Ghost, but Kusta's currently working that palace, and he has got an orb. We always see Kusta lurking, selling fakes or trying to catch rotations, so either of those are available right now, depending on the call made by Ghost. And he's just holding the line for this moment while we see Sub Rosa again trying to abuse that B position, trying to creep in through a smoke. Breezy has a really good angle here because with an AUG, this is even better. You're zoomed in, you're very aware of that position. And you have a good sight over it, so it's going to be hard for Sub Rosa to cross. The time is starting to tick down for Ghost, and they will settle back for an A play after all, with Sub Rosa keeping up somewhat of a bit of pressure in B, but with Fugly here on the AWP, we saw what he can do last round. Can he do it again?
Well, he might have to. He does have Cirque over towards the jungle as a bit of a relief force. Goes through that smoke preemptively and holds it from jungle. Right now, I don't think Daps is keeping an eye on this connector place. That falls to Cirque, and he will spot that first man and deals with him very promptly so. Ethan gets burnt out from under Palace, takes the fight, but Cirque's there to bail him out of that one. And this round should be all said and done, unless Sabrosa... Yeah, there's 5 seconds. It is over. NRG 11-4. At the end of the first half, we look at all the other games, and they've been right down to the wire. They've been very back and forth in this opening segment. This one, though, Mirage, has been the most one-sided map we've seen out of this best of 3 thus far. NRG out the gate looking fantastic here. The question now becomes for Ghost, do they have what it takes? Do they have that resilience to stay in this and build back into this game? Or are we just going to see NRG keep this momentum up and run away with it?
I think it's a lot of that. I think it's less in the hand of Ghost, more specifically in the fact that we've had the step up of players that we asked for after the previous map. And there you go on your screen right now. Look at this. Ethan, one of the bottom performers of the initial games, only to bounce back and hit that top of the scoreboard. And on the flip side, Kusta, who has been the absolute killer here for Ghost, is sitting at 1 frag. That is not going to be helpful. It is 100% headshot ratio though, Harry, so there's always a bright side.
Yeah, that's a real, it's not like quite a silver lining. It's like a lead lining. Like, it's like, it's kind of cool, I guess.
It's like the gutters.
Yeah. And that's the real story of this for me, is Kusta, right? He was kind of the guy really bringing this team up. But also, you know, that's the one downside. He had the weight of the world on his shoulders and has kind of been crushed under all that pressure. So it's going to require an absolutely monumental effort from Ghost if they want to build back into this one. And most notably, I think we do need to see that step up from Kusta. We need the team as well to try and make sure he's in the right mindset, in the right spirits to step into this one. Because if he doesn't, this could be a very, very crushing exit from this event for Ghost. Especially as well with Kusta kind of being the one to look at for that when you think about how he was also the one giving them life.
Oh no, it's a B fake here. I bet Ghost will over-rotate considering that how dominant this game has been, how scared they are to lose this pistol. But actually, these are very solid positions from Neptune and Sub-Rosa. They have yet to leave this bomb site despite losing a man and pressure being put on the apartments. Very, very good decision from Ghost. A lot of teams that over-rotate there. And yes, okay, they'll start to draw away. Oh, no, this is a problem. NRG, they've not even committed to apartments. They've still even got a man coming in through the underpass as well. Neptune's going to reconsider. Daps will crawl through the connector. They can't spot this, because if they do, they'll be exposed to the palace, so they've got to be extremely cautious. With Daps now up in this position, this is not the end of the world for Ghost. They can play retake, but here's when the B pressure comes on and Sub-Rosa rotates off. Steel going to be able to defend with 1. These kills have to come through for Ghost. They need to win the B fight because that real fight is going to be over on A. That's where the bomb's already going, but Neptune's defending with his life alongside Kusta and Sub-Rosa, firing on all cylinders, and they'll shut it down. The bomb will get planted for NRG, but Ghost, good decision to commit towards A, and it will work out.
Oh.
Despite losing that pistol, they're still sounding okay, Harry.
Yeah,
High spirits over the NRG cap.
Well, yeah, I don't think you can blame them at this point. It has been a very good half from all parties, really, over on the side of NRG. I mean, even Daps, right, who sits bottom of the board 5 and 8. You think about some of the kills he gets in the early CT side for NRG, some of the kind of crucial, you know, double entries into that B bomb site that he kind of picks up.
And not even that, but, you know, if you're 5 and 8 and your team are all fragging like this, and this is a scoreline, you know, your performance doesn't matter. You're doing your job as an IGL, you're setting up your stars, and they are succeeding, and that's what's happening, as you can see in this round as well. Despite Ghost winning that pistol, NRG is somehow making a mockery out of them. This is a Glock from Daps. He does not have armor here. He's dropped over an AK, and he's just dinked Neptune down to 20 points of health. Might not be able to finish a kill, but boy, has he set up someone else for that. And they very nearly take down Ethan.
Ethan gets very lucky that nade misses its mark, albeit by a couple of pixels. Now Sub-Rosa, he's going to spot this, and that's the AK stripped away from NRG. They will be allowed to pick it back up. Neptune finally wins his duel onto Daps. And now that 1 AK on Fugly, who doesn't have armor. Aim Punch going to play into this, so he's only up against these SMGs, but that is going to make it that much harder, especially as Kusta just lies in wait. Only has 2 kills to his name right now, but a chance to double that in this round as they push on into him. Able to peek up and drop that first man. Fugly swinging out a little bit late. Not quite able to trade for Cirque immediately, and this is just his problems only just beginning now as Neptune rotating around. Sub-Rosa arrives at the bomb site. Fugly, this should be impossible. It's a 1v3. And yeah, he will get put down. So it starts off a little bit kind of worrying for Ghost. They lose that 2-man hold down in mid. You see Neptune get brought down low by Daps, but they're able to get a leash back on the Beast very, very quickly. And they will be picking up a 6th.
Important recovery, right? If you lose that round, that's how your team just crumble. You can't lose to a second round force by, you know, especially with that Glock fight up on A. But Yeah, Ghost still in this game. They know that there's still the chance to bring this to a respectable scoreline or even take that victory, but they got to take it round by round. First time out here for NRG. Ghost, on the other hand, they're going to be fairly exhausted when it comes to these timeouts. They are ticking down. Subrosa's having a great game, as you can see. He's top of his team, but no one gracing over 100 ADR. It has been a bit of a scrappy battle in these last few rounds. Let's see who comes out on top of this, because NRG, they bought up once again, and they might be able to break Ghost's money right back with these 4 AKs.
Certainly might. And Ethan's been allowed a lot of ground down here towards mid. Wardell, I don't think has any clue that there's a man this close. Flash gets thrown in there by Daps from top mid, who's only on that CZ, only had that one bit of utility to try and help out with, and now he's swooped in to do his best, assisting Ethan here. Steal. Quick double from him from the window, and now we need to see the recovery. We need to see these trades, and they're just not coming through. Wardell gonna pluck Breezy and Cirque from this round, and now it all falls onto Fugly. A 1v3. Now he's been the hero for NRG a couple of times, and now he's gonna try and rise to the occasion once again. It's just Steal and Sabrosa left standing. 55 seconds on the clock, all the time in the world for Fugly. No kit over on the side of Ghost, and just a flash on Sabrosa. Molotov going to deny the vision from Connected. Does mean that Fugly can go ahead and cross and get this bomb down. He spots that bullet as well from Steal, so he gets the information where one of these players are. Still doesn't know the whereabouts of Sabrosa, but that flash gives it away, and Sabrosa's going to win the fight. So thankfully, they are going to go ahead and cancel out Fugly. They deny him that clutch, and they pick themselves up a 7th round. Slowly but surely, Ghost Gaming, they're closing this distance. They're closing the gap, and they are getting back into this one.
Yeah, that was a really intelligent play from Fugly. The reason he went out so wide in the open there was because once he went for that bomb plant on default, Steele shot at triple box, assuming that he was planting behind triple, right? Because he crossed with a flashbang. And so Fugly thinks that Ghost think he's triple, so if he can get all the way to Tetris without them spotting him, then, he's going to be on the complete opposite side of where they think he is, and he probably wins that round. But obviously, just a precautionary shot through the box, and they were more than aware of his position. It is Ghost able to get that round after all. But again, it's just constant pressure from NRG, and that's one of the big factors. They are just, every round, have something to play with. This round, it's CZ's armor, and a fast B play, but already Fugly going to be stripped out of this one. Steele shutting him down from the short. He's got his teammate on the site, and Kusta, he's got to go absolutely berserk here with the AWP. Steele side by side. Kusta's found himself a second. He's wrapping the left. Kusta's got to be aware of it, and while he does go down, his teammate's already in there to help him. Ghost, 8 rounds to 11. This is looking very, very close all of a sudden. Obviously, there's still a couple of rifle rounds before we've equaled up, but this is not a marathon anymore for Ghost.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? You think back to the MIBR matchup from yesterday, and this is starting to have some very similar undertones there. It was a strong CT side from NRG early on. They went up 10-5. Then we saw MIBR bring it back in the second half to an overtime, in spite of the fact, that they were in the lead for the longest time period, NRG. And it could be the same story here. Ghost, since getting onto the CT side, they've won every single round thus far. That's 4 in a row to get back to this scoreline. The buy at least comes in for NRG here, but we need to see some more signs of life, because as Ghost are finding these rounds, not only are they building up the money, not only are they closing that gap, but they're building up the confidence, which on a man like Kusta, who got off to a slow start, he's built back into this game. He's kind of, getting a scoreline alongside the rest of his team now from what was a very bad time he was having. You can see him starting to find his footing a bit more. You can see him looking more confident there as they push into that bomb site at B.
And now they actually have the money for the AWP that wasn't available on the T side, but look at that push early on. Neptune, he's just charged underpass and found himself a frag. Wardell picks up one in middle, and he may get a second bite of the pie. Although, he's not up for seconds. He's fallen back. He's gone back towards A instead, where he actually picks up a kill. While Cirque can drop that lone man in middle, he's going to get caught on the jump, and Daps is now the last man standing for NRG. Bottom of his team, but while this wasn't a problem in the previous half, this is going to make things very difficult for him in a 1-on-4.
Yeah, I mean, what really can Daps look to do? Neptune's over here at B. Maybe if he finds him, he could look to try and cross and get that bomb down. But even then, that's optimistic with Kusta being in position at short. So 55 seconds left. Daps is looking for something to give somewhere. The only issue is with Wardell homing his sights in onto the lower tunnels. Daps sneaking along. That's going to be the easiest kill of Wardell's career. And now, just 2 rounds between these teams. Ghost, it was looking like they were going to go down and out for the count at the end of that first half. They've recovered nicely. And NRG, all those smiles, all that laughter we were hearing, that's gone. And the atmosphere looks dead now whenever we cut to them. It's some pretty shocked faces.
They still have the lead, but they can't be unrealistic. They can't pretend that this is their game, because it is certainly not in control right now. This roller coaster is derailed, Harry. I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride as Ghost Gaming for a 4-round comeback. 5 now, actually, rather, on this second half. It's going to be, again, these CZs. NRG failed on the B rush last time, but they're going to go back towards A instead. They've got Neptune to deal with up close. Strong position, but against CZs, I mean, these guns are like alligators. No, piranhas is a better analogy. And he is knee-deep in the water. Already they run through, though, and oh dear! It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Neptune's going to find 3. Cirque will trade it back up, but he won't be able to retrieve the AK-47. Instead, having to cross, try and get aggressive, try and get this bomb and plant, but Daps is yet to pick it back up from the ramp. Wardell got to back off as Cirque closes in close, but he's only got 6 bullets.
Yeah, Wardell there. You can see Cirque just licking his lips at the prospect of picking it up. Wardell's not going to let him get his hands on it, though. And it's Daps once again in one of these impossible clutch scenarios. But he's looking to try and do the impossible. Is Daps? Oh, he even lands the damage on a steal. It gets close. Maybe a little too close for comfort, but Ghost still managing to recover. And now they're into the double digits. We get the replay from Neptune as well. This was just masterful, nice. Yeah.
Really good spray. Especially up against pistols, right? If that's versus a rifle round, yeah, it's kind of harder to get around there. You're slower, you're a bit more clunky, but those pistols, man, they can just overwhelm you. And this is their 3rd timeout, Harry. Remember, coming into this half, NRG had not used a timeout. They've now used 3 in the first 6 rounds. This is, yeah, I mean, all it does is show that this is getting out of control for NRG, and they're very aware of it, which is important, of course. But you know Ghosts are going to start to pick up pace, and with 1 round away from that equalization, we do have the buy from NRG, but the money for Ghosts is going to be good. If they do lose it, they can always fall back on that for 1 more round. Here it is, crunch time. Do NRG keep the lead, or do Ghost solidify themselves with an 11-11?
Well, let's wait and see. Let's find out. They're setting up for just an A-side execute. Standard as they come. Ethan's going to be coming in a little bit late in through mid to try and pincer on round. He smokes these flashes, they go in, but they're not ready for Wardell up close. Neptune's here as well, and he's going to go and drop a smoke of his own. That delays his push in. And well, the old saying, divide and conquer, couldn't ring more true right now for Ghost. They cut this push in half, and they cut down the players that tried to open things up for NRG. So now it's back to the drawing board. Bloodied and bruised, NRG falling back into mid. Now going to try and find an avenue back into this round, but they're going to be hard-pressed to do so with just 2 flashbangs and only 3 players remaining. You don't really have the utility to try and secure this portion of the map, and that's what they're going to struggle with. Luckily enough, Ghost have gone very lax on the mid control. They have given up this area. So NRG have at least secured a foothold here. Ghost instead opting to fall back and play more passively into the bomb sites. Kusta keeping an eye on middle. Will be that first point of contact for Cirque. And oh, he's quick. You better believe it. He's dropped that bomb, and now it is just Daps and Fugly remaining. Fugly going to try and retrieve it. Daps will manage the trade at the very least. There's still a chance here for NRG, but with only 20 seconds left, they have to pick up the pace.
Yeah, Wardell's got the crossfire as well. He catches the man moving out above. That only makes his position under Balk even more valuable, but it won't be needed. Sub-Rose are off that window rotate, and Ghost shutting it down once again. Harry, it's happened. NRG have given up enough rounds to let Ghost get back into a similar scoreline, the same scoreline, in fact, and with no money for NRG, surely, if history is repeating itself, Ghost are going to be taking the lead here. 12-11 possible, as NRG don't have the money for the full buy. And what a comeback this has been. I mean, it is very, very similar to that previous day, Harry, where we saw this exact same situation to NRG, a lead on Mirage in the third map of a best-of-3 against MIBR. And then they lost it, only to be down here in the lower bracket. That was in the upper bracket, Harry. They could have had a chance to go straight through to the semi-finals. They won just a couple of games, but they might be eliminated if they can't stop Ghost from getting back into this game.
Wow. Desperate times call for desperate measures. They're going to try barrel into B. A couple of missed shots from Kusta might extend a welcome arm out to NRG. Cirque, how's he managed that? He's gone ahead and deleted steals, so a chance. A chance is a fickle mistress. So let's see. That bomb goes down. Wardell pushing on in. Other two players at short going to go to win their fight out onto Cirque. Breezy in with the reply, and that now alleviates a lot of pressure because they know where both of these players are. They know that they're at short. So that's allowed Daps to go ahead and take position in the kitchen. They have a crossfire set up, and it's a pretty hefty one at that. Sabrosa, he's not moving. He's not keen on that, especially now as he gets tagged out of 14 HP. This is all said and done. He's going to look to try and keep it expensive, keep it costly at the very least. But that's really the best case scenario. And yeah, he's got to back away. So NRG, they do let Ghost catch up. They let them get to 11. But they will be maintaining that lead at the very least.
It was all a ruse. And not for one of those fast B plays, a lot of that coming down to a couple of missed shots from Kusta. And considering how good he's been getting back into this game from a really awful first half scoreline with 1 kill, that's unfortunate.
And the mental thing is there for NRG is that was their eco, right? They just go barreling into the B bomb site. That's the grand strat. You know, they keep it simple, stupid, as the saying goes. You just rush that B bomb site, few missed shots from Kusta, and that's all it takes. NRG managing a 12th, but the buy's still here for Ghost. They don't have to worry about that. This time, Wardell going to have a very active stance and trying to keep an eye on mid. Ethan playing off the spawn, had the AWP there, and he was able to win the duel. So man advantage gain for NRG off the bat in this round, and that's going to leave Ghost for the first time in a long time having to play this a man down.
That was extremely important as well, because this leads for 2 things, right? Ghost could have reset NRG at 12-12, which would have been really, really awkward. But on the flip side, not only did NRG win an eco, but if they win this follow-up as well, that actually breaks Ghost's money. Despite this 7-round comeback for Ghost, they lose 2 in a row and they're going to be eco. So it's very important that Ghost either save guns or try and bounce back from this 4-on-5. Kusta, he knows there's a man deep in the apartments. He spotted him, but there's also one on the left side, and that's why he needs to be very, very careful. He's being baited so hard right now. And Cirque has called that he's still on this position. He might get double peaked. Molotov going to go in deep to try and keep these T's back, but Kusta's so committed here, and everyone has all the info, just no one wants to make that first move. No one wants to give away this man advantage. There's a shot. Kusta needs to fall because they're going to rush B. Flash is there to set up Steel for a bit of success, and what will he find? NRG yet to be spotting him. He's going to go in late. That's a really well-timed push. Steel gets 2, and the man on the site dropped by Kusta, who won't miss his shot this time. It's Daps alone on the wrong side of the map, and with no bomb and no time, there is no chance.
Yeah, he's got to save, so we're back. We're equal 12-12 here as Ghost remain resilient as ever. And yeah, for those of you who are just joining us, a quick recap of what you've missed thus far. The first map went the way of NRG. That, of course, was Inferno, and that was their map pick. It was right down to the wire, 16-14, very back and forth, and actually NRG grinded their way back into that game from a 14-10 scoreline in favor of Ghost. Second map, bit of a different story. Ghost managing to pick up the pace early on, take a 16-10 victory there. Now in map number 3, this was looking like an NRG game in the beginning. They were 11-4 up, and it was some of the cleanest CS that we've seen from this team, almost, at least in that first half. But my goodness, here in the second, Ghost, they've remained resilient. They've looked fantastic, and they've pulled their way back into this. NRG haven't really risen to the occasion. They have fallen silent in these, in almost throughout the entirety of this second half, managing 1 round thus far. And now we see it all tied up. And, you know, just a reminder, the loser of this, they go home, which for either one of these teams is going to be a real punch to the gut. For Ghost, this is, you know, the kind of the biggest sort of events that this team can really attend, right? And then over on the side of NRG, similar vein is like another very on the rise NA team trying to make that name for themselves. They have done so more so than this Ghost roster.
Yeah.
But that's why they should be looking to win this out, right?
I mean, NRG on their side, this is a team that's had that success. It's been in those grand finals. It's won those large events. You know, look at IEM Shanghai, for example, picking up the victory there. They've been in grand finals and just losing to Liquid last week in Malta. I mean, NRG have had their fair share of victories, and to go out in the group stage to Ghost, well, obviously not to discredit Ghost at all. Ghost have played great so far, but that would be real heartbreaking for NRG. It's not over yet, though. It's 12-12, and a quick A push will be summed up for Wardell shutting it down. Breezy's able to trade the man under Balk. Neptune's been playing there all half, so Breezy very aware. Wardell now questioning whether he wants to go back in for another as that bomb gets planted. The mid-split from Ethan will be caught by Steel, who gets the information, but Daps is very close up to this jungle, and Sub Rosa, as that smoke fades, he's got to be careful. It is re-smoked, though. This retake's going to be very difficult with his positioning from Daps.
Yeah, the lone pistolero is Daps.
Oh!
Somehow good for 2, and he's still hungry for more. Kusta, well, he will be allowed to escape and leave this bomb site. So NRG, they retake the lead. And they really do pick their moments, NRG. They waited till it gets all equal at 11-11. They still haven't handed a lead over to Ghost. We haven't seen them in that lead since the pistol round.
This save is so important as well on that AWP because it does facilitate the buy here. If we look at that money, if Kusa drops over a gun and doesn't buy up any utility, he can drop, you know, Wardell. Or Wardell the York buy himself up the gun. Steel can buy, and I think there was one other player with 4-point-something thousand, so it should be okay for Ghost. That being said, it's far from perfect, Harry. I mean, that's been this game for both teams, really. A dominant half for NRG, followed back by the same story for this Canadian Ghost team and their last time out being used as well. That's a note. This game is far from done, with overtime still on the cards. And a round advantage to NRG. When you're at a point where your money can just break after one last round for both these teams, when you're 3 rounds away either side to a best-of-3 victory or a best-of-3 loss in elimination, this is never fun for either team. Because while NRG have the lead, they also don't have any cash built up in their banks, having to constantly rebuy. So here we go, Ghost, what are they afforded? They've got a couple of orbs. One of them's actually found an early pick. Wardell, first Palace push we've seen this entire game from the CT side, and he gets a frag from it. That's going to really disrupt things for NRG, who wanted to go for a B split with Fugly on that late lurk. But now, with him being picked out of the equation, it is just that B push. Daps playing middle, setting up utility, but one player walked up short. They're going to know this.
Nice shot from Kusta. No trade in sight either. He's allowed to get away entirely for free. Surely this back and forth can't continue any longer. When it does, so Breezy actually going to go push on in. Picks up the point man in the form of Kusta. Steel still doing such a good job of just buying time. They finally flush him out, but my goodness, he was a real nuisance there. Wardell already arriving, already in the kitchen. Will he anticipate this push from Breezy? He's going to go through the smoke, and Breezy catches them off guard. There's the first man dropped. Wardell now turning his attention back around to try and deal with that backstab from Breezy. Sabrosa on an epic journey of his own up in the apartments. Missed shot from Daps, and now it does fall onto Breezy. He's got to get his second wind in this 1v2. And does damage Sabrosa, but not quite enough to pick it up, so the defuse is there. And that'll be us tied up once again, 13 all.
You could see Wardell wanted to take that defuse as well because he had the kit, but Sabrosa was like, no, it's fine. I have time. I want that MVP. And yeah, an important flank coming out as well, considering Breezy was on for the ace in that round. He got 3 frags, getting aggressive in the market. And there's the last time up from NRG. I mean, it's on a knife's edge, Harry. As talked about in the prior round, the money for NRG is far from perfect, and them buying up into it, I mean, it makes sense, but it's gonna hurt. They lose the follow-up round, because of course, if we look at the scoreboard, the last 5 rounds have all been from separate winners. No one has rallied together 2 in a row. That is a slight problem, more so for usually the CTs that have the more expensive buy, but right now it's for NRG that are getting beaten because their buy coming into this round is worse than Ghost's previous. It's not always the guns that stop you, and Breezy shows that.
Yeah, and you know, the real reason for that is, you know, if it's coming out of these clutch, like these tense clutch scenarios every single time, it's always by the skin of its teeth. And yeah, the CT side do start to fall behind because it's more expensive. But you look at the manner that Ghost Gaming win their rounds, usually it's more clean. NRG, it's always kind of coming down to these one-on-ones, these 1vx's, these 2vx scenarios. You're not carrying as much forward. Ethan, lots of aggression as he tries to carry his team forward. But Kusta rising up to the occasion now. Oh, Zerk's going to hop into the firing line. Daps finally in with that trade. What is going on here? As Kusta stands up tall, rears his head and locks down this B-bomb site. Now Wardell, Sabrosa and Neptune sitting with the man advantage, Fugly and Daps. Left standing for NRG. Both teams teetering on the edge of a reset, which at this point in the game is absolutely monumental. So this round is just so important. It could almost be the force that decides who closes out this series and who goes home. Look at Daps. He's on an adventure. He's on quite the walkabouts, isn't he, Daps?
If Fugly can get the bomb plant in before Daps shows his hand, Ghost aren't going to start expecting this flank, but you can see Daps is moving ahead of this and Neptune's really ready for it. He catches the free kill, and that's going to make all the difference here. Fugly's realized the error. He's alone. This is going to make things very, very difficult. No one wants to push in until that bomb has been planted and the pressure really is on. They want to catch him with no gun in his hand, with no chance, no trick up his sleeve. But Fugly, he's found the first. The Molotov forces him back to the back of the site. He's got 20 seconds for a bomb plant or 2 kills. Which option will he go for? No one's taking this fight. Again, faking that bomb, trying to force the peak. They will actually jump out the market. He could line them up. There's the first missed shot. 9 seconds, and Wardell's going to hit the flick. Sick round from Kusta as well. Those 3 kills on the defense made all the difference there for Ghost. It's the round of the orbs, if anything, but 14 up to Ghost, and no bomb plant is the key because NRG don't have cash.
Look at this. This was just unreal. Look, Kusta's there, and then here comes Zerk. Whoop!
See ya.
And the reaction speed on that is just unreal. Fugly here, by the way, in such an awkward spot. Having the AWP in that 1v3, having to get the bomb down just isn't ideal, because you try and fake it, but they always hear the scope. So that means the only way you can get away with faking the bomb plant in those few seconds is you don't scope, right? So you have to do everything on the instant reaction as he tries to do versus Sabrosa. And, well, here we go. Chance to pad your stats. Sabrosa, big fan of that. Ghost Gaming moving on to map and series point here. 15-13 on the back of what was a 4-11 half. They have managed to do the impossible here as they look to rise up and send home undoubtedly the team that were the favorites in this matchup, NRG. Ghost Gaming, 5 kills is all that separates them from that reality. And that's what they wanted to show they could do. They came here to show that that's the, you know, people have been underestimating this team.
Well, let's see if they can finish off the job. NRG are wounded, but they're not quite done just yet. They've got 2 more rounds to claw back into an overtime with a double AWP to deal with on Ghost, and that has been really the light at the end of the tunnel here for Ghost in the second half. That combination between Kusta and Wardell, it's going to need to be needed more than ever. Neptune's pushed on the ramp. Zerk falls into it, but he gets the instant headshot. That's so sick from Zerk. Now it's up to Wardell. Only one on the site before the entries come back in, and NRG are swooping over A. It's Kusta and Sabrosa, that long flank that Sabrosa has been pulling in all half. Kusta needs this kill. He's not going to be able to get it. Only the tag to Daps. And I think this is going to be called into question, even if Sabrosa gets that frag, which he won't. And that's NRG. Surely 14 rounds on this board here. Money's starting to be a problem for Ghost, and an exit from Kusta, but nothing else.
NRG, they'd already let this one go. They're not 14-15. And we are going the distance. Just 1 round away from another overtime. Well, no, not another overtime. Another overtime on this map for NRG.
Yeah.
And, you know, our second full 30-round series of this matchup.
And it was that T side again that was the problem, Harry. When they were on that T side, losing it to MIBR after a big lead, they had the game surely under wraps, it seemed. But after a comeback from the Brazilians, NRG were knocked down into the lower bracket, and the same thing could happen here. It's all down to this round. It's the last possible opportunity. This is incredible from Zerk. I mean, great shot. He even catches the man on the flank as well. That just guaranteed the round. I don't think it would have happened anyway. That was a very, very difficult spot to be in. Kusta had already been spotted and he had naught. But we're into it. Round number 30. Double AWP still here. What have NRG got for us to pull us to overtime?
Well, let's wait and see. Cirque's up here in the apartment's going to try and find an early pick, but he's flashed off the angle, so that never comes through. That never materializes. Kusta, he's gone aggressive, and that was the opportunity of the trade right there. They're not going to get another chance like that, and Fugly knows it. He knows that he can't afford to re-peek back into this as much as he would like to. He's lucky to have not been found through that smoke. Bad advantage up for Ghost, though. We need to call the Exorcist, because NRG, they are staring down the barrel of defeat. Kusta playing like a man possessed right now as Ghost Gaming have themselves in a very good position here. Ethan's up past that smoke, but Sub Rosa, he hears everything. That stampede, like a herd of elephants, the noise down in mid. Steel finds another. It's Daps and Breezy, all that remain to try and keep NRG in this, to try and send us through to overtime. It's Breezy in a 1v5. This should be impossible. Ghost Gaming, they've done it. 16-14. They take the series 2-1. It's the reverse sweep from Ghost, an 11-4 in favor of NRG, and yet still Ghost Gaming are triumphant. NRG, they're going home. They're done here. But Ghost, they're going to keep soldiering on. They're playing versus Na'Vi later to try and secure that spot in the playoffs.
And just what a comeback from Ghost in that final map. I thought it was surely over, an 11-4 to NRG. But Ghost, they never give up. They keep up the resilience. They keep up the power. And boy, do they deserve that spot. They're not quite in the playoffs just yet. But this is a run for Ghost. And this is a bite back from the lower bracket here in Group B, knocking out one of the best teams in North America, and I couldn't be more happy for them. Ghost are looking fantastic right now. It may be Christmas, Harry, but the Ghost train is still running all year round.
Most definitely. I mean, what a fantastic series from... for me, Kusta has to be the star, right? You even think back to that performance on Mirage, and it was a very, very weak start, right? He went like 0-9 or something ridiculous before he finds his first kill, but then he starts stepping up. That's it from you and I. We now know that Ghost is going to be the team facing off against Na'Vi. That's coming up a little bit later. We still have 2 more best 3s to be played today. That'll be covered, and coming up, rather, after the break.